Today I'm with MG Developer, and it's not very often I get a chance to actually walk with the developer and speak about projects that are going on and potentially some future projects that they have going on that we'll talk about towards the end of the video that people really don't know yet. But it's interesting to know that Coral Gables has evolved so much over the past couple of years, and I think it's interesting for the audience to learn about how did you guys start off and a little bit of your history.
Perfect, Brian. First of all, thank you so much for the opportunity. And it's actually what you say, Coral Gables got a name, it's been more famous right now, but it's cool. If you look back when we started, which was in 2014, we actually acquired this site and no one had ever developed anything for 7 years. So at the end of the day, we took a massive risk where we saw a massive opportunity for development. And it was very interesting that no one had done anything. And it's close to Biltmore Way, which is the street that connects Coral Gables until the Biltmore Hotel. So for us, we came here, took a risk. We had no comps in the area. So to get started with no comps and get a loan and investors, it can be hard, but we're able to do it. And we promised that we're gonna develop the entire area. Not only just bring this to Coral Gables, which was needed, but we also mentioned that we wanted to add more value to the city and invest on the long run, which is why we're here in what we call Biltmore Square, which we developed ourselves. And we're gonna go around and show you our product that's here.
I'm excited, and I wanna ask you another question. So you're talking about the risk. And for the audience who doesn't know anything about development or they're just starting to learn about it, what are the type of risks that come into these type of developments that people may not be thinking about?
For people who are not really in the real estate business, it's very straightforward. If you come to the Gables, and we saw that we had a very good vision. My father, who's the founder of MG, had the vision to come here, saw that Coral Gables had an immense opportunity for investment, but the lifestyle that the city provides. We're not only selling condos, we're selling lifestyle. For us, it was more of an assessed risk, but at that time, no one saw it like that. We were really particular, and the city saw us as someone special who was coming here from another country and taking a risk and investing in their city, and we just wanted to add value at the end of the day.
It's amazing that people from other parts of the country can come over here, establish themselves, and improve the community wherever they're living in, and you guys are doing a great job. So this is the first development we're looking at. This is the Biltmore Park.
It's 32 units. At that time, it might not seem too many units, but at that time, the interesting thing is that for the city of Coral Gables, it was a very important project. And for us as well, because it was our first project. So to get that exposure that we were able to get in this amazing city was what really set us apart from other developers and from other people that were really not interested in Coral Gables at that time, which is again in 2014.
This is gonna be cool. So we're looking at the first development you guys started to get your feet wet, and now we're gonna start going to the progression of the other developments. So this is pretty cool. All right, I'm excited for this one. Everything here is very walkable in this area, and I like that all the developments you guys are doing.
That's when I talk about the vision. That's one of the things that that got really cut out. All right, we're 1 block away from Biltmore Way, which connects all the way to Biltmore Hotel and to Ponce de Leon, which is where the other restaurants are. So we really saw an opportunity to just come here and add a value to the city in a way that apparently at that time no one really saw. And we were pioneers in this particular area, and we sold the vision that we were going to do this.
If you're not from Coral Gables or you're just moving here, you'll see that there's like drastic differences in architecture and design. Like you'll see a lot of these older homes because the Coral Gables is it's a very affluent neighborhood. It's a very historic community, and you'll see a lot of these homes are not really developed or modernized, but it's cool seeing that you guys are able to come in, upgrade it, and really add value even more to the neighborhood. So it's really dope.
If you really think about Coral Gables, it's a residential neighborhood. You're not part of that Brickell market. You're more of a part of a lot of people who are downsizing. They live in Coco Plum, Gables Estates, and their kids went to college, and now they're coming. They still want a place where they can host, but they also want to be able to have the freedom and just close out their home and travel. So that's why we came up with the townhomes that are so famous here in the Gables and really sets MG's name apart.
And that's very true because there's not a lot of walkable spaces here, and Brickell's definitely not walkable. You can't really do much. I mean, it is walkable, at least for my opinion. You lose like the family essence, and here you keep that and you have walkability. So it's a huge bonus. So this one here?
This is Biltmore Row. So it's a set of 10 townhomes, which we delivered 2 years ago. And this is the progression of what we're gonna see next of Althea Row. It's very interesting because Althea is the mother of George Merrick, and George Merrick is actually the founder and the one who really started the city of Coral Gables, and the way he envisioned it was to be very organized, a very organized community. And we just took inspiration along those lines and brought it into our perspective of how we should develop in today's world.
I will say this about the developments that I've looked at from you guys, and I do like the way that you have it architecturally, the way it looks. You keep a lot of the traditional essence of what the Gables historically has been, the Mediterranean, Spanish vibes. And compared to other developments are high-end, ultra-modern. Yours are very modern, amazing finishes. Feel that they're rustic in a way, right? Like they're antique, but they're very nice. I mean, it's very well done.
Because it's a combination between the city standards of development and their vision of keeping the classic architecture. There are some buildings here in the Gables that until today you cannot demolish. You can only upgrade it or maybe change the facade, but you cannot demolish just because they are being protected by the city. So what we'd like to do is just come in and take their style and what they like to see that's been built and use it on our own.
This is like a collaborative effort between the city. A lot of people think that a developer will come in, they'll just submit their plans, and then they'll just put whatever they want. And I really want to drive home that what you just said, that it's a collaborative effort. You need to have the government, you need to have private sector, you need to have everybody coming together to make sure we're working towards the good of the public, but also everybody wins in that scenario. How long did it take from acquiring the land to actually developing it to do this project right here?
The actual land was acquired when we acquired Althea, which we're gonna see in a minute. Althea was acquired right before COVID. But we acquired the entire area. So it was actually an L shape, but we did it in 2 stages. We did first Althea, which was a set of 5 townhomes, and then we did this 10. And actually the timing worked out pretty well just because when we were delivering Althea, we were beginning construction here and COVID had just passed. So if you remember and you go back to those times, which I'm sure weren't the best, post-COVID there was a big boom in Miami. So we actually were able to sell Althea, concentrated Biltmore Row. We delivered Biltmore Row. We sold that out before it was finished. We stayed with 2 units just because we really love our product and want to show the market that we believe in what we're doing.
And now you don't really see much often where people they just want to sell it and move it out. But you guys are maintaining it, so it's pretty cool. Let's go take a look at Althea Row.
For the audience that really is not into real estate, it's hard to see for people who are not really in the real estate game what the developer really is. And what you said was, we're like the middleman. We provide the financial capital, but we also deal with GCs. So at the end of the day, it's really a group effort and a compilation of many things that have to come together, and we all have to be on the same page for it to be a successful project. It's not only people say it's location, 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 but it's really about partnerships and how you can add value all together.
And how much do you take public opinion into consideration in these developments? So I know when you guys are planning to build, you guys have to go through the commission or the council and get all those approvals. How do you get the community involved in these type of projects?
That's a great question, and actually that's one of the things that makes Coral Gables stand out. People who live here, they know this is a community that listens to people. So I think we do listen to what the public wants. We have our own vision for the city. We believe that, for example, in our new project, we have buildings where people were renting at $800 a month. They were really multifamily, very affordable housing product, which is amazing. And it's needed in the city of Miami, but we didn't really necessarily see that it was the product to be in the Gables. We saw an opportunity to acquire it and develop it, which we're doing, and we call it Gables Village. It's only 48 units. Going back to your point, we could have just talked to the city, do something massive. We wanted to do what the community likes, do what the community needs. We focused on, George Merrick did several villages. The Chinese village is one. We're doing the Ace Village. That's the way we're promoting it. And it's a small community that we created, only 40 luxury units. And I think it's what the city needs, and it supports the vision at the end of the day.
There's some units that I drive, like developments that I walk through, that they look soulless. And not to throw shade to anybody, but it doesn't look like it's a home or has a real specific personality. And you can see it here with what you guys are doing. Like, look at the designs, look at the textures, everything that's being incorporated. It's important, and people want to know, how are you, when you're creating these developments, incorporating nature? How big is nature within your development? Because there's a lot of people, when I do my videos, they ask about where's public spaces. You know, we were gonna have this massive building, but how do we incorporate, you know, a park or a playground or things that bring utility to the community?
I think it all goes back to the city of Coral Gables and the way we envision it. Obviously, the city of Coral Gables has regulations and codes, and they love parks as incentives to let you build maybe more density or give you some other incentives that you might need to make a development work. But when you talk about nature, also the city doesn't let you just come and rip the trees apart. Like I said before, it's everything very well planned, very well thought out, and Coral Gables has a very high standard for development. That's why some developers are successful here. Some others find it to be a city that's not very friendly. But I think it's just the standard that the high level and the high bar that they set, that it's either you meet their expectations or you're gonna have a hard time developing here in the city.
So for those developers that come down here that don't understand how Miami operates or works, what is the issue? Because you brought up that there's like I guess a breakdown in communication, or they're not understanding it. Number one, why are they having those issues? And number two, what are ways to improve that dialogue with the community?
It's not an issue, it's just a style. If you walk around the Gables and you see the houses, if you see our details in what we built, if you see some other developments, it has, like you said, some developments lack that sense of connection. This one's don't. As soon as you walk into one of our units, you're gonna see that's something special. So it's more of being able to meet that standard of high level of architecture, finishes, the way you connect with people, the way you sell, the way you come into a community and don't sound or make them feel invasive. You're just coming in to add value, and in a positive way. You would never come in here and do something negative. The people have to feel that as well.
And that's a big thing. A lot of people feel that these developments are coming up out of nowhere, and they're like, hey, like I go walk outside my door and a massive 50-story development's being made, and where was my opinion in this whole process? I think that's where we're starting to see a lot of pushback from the community, people they're not being responsive, but it's good that you guys are doing that. You guys are being proactive. There's one big thing I want to talk about, and I guess it's the public transportation, or how do you guys plan to incorporate these future developments with transportation or improving it? Is this something that you guys are working with the city with, like just to get an idea?
Well, I mean, the city's transportation system itself, I think Mayor Vince Lago has focused a lot on that situation. I know that the trolley, which they call it, made a new regulation, which I think he came up with more days that it's available, it's free. Now it transports people from point A to the center of Coral Gables, where it's the downtown. And at the end of the day, at least our focus is how close are you walkable to the restaurants? How easy can you get there? Some people are downsizing from houses where you have to drive even to go get us something to do for dinner. So we just want to make sure that people are able to walk. If it's 20 minutes where you can walk. And walking, we just walked like a couple of blocks, and it's very nice.
If you've never been to the Gables, I highly recommend it. I just saw a report that Coral Gables is ranked higher or more expensive than Beverly Hills. I mean, I'm surprised by that.
You have neighborhoods. You have neighborhoods like Coco Plum and Gables Stage with have very high taxpayers.
Very true.
So that's also altering the ranking. So that's why it's competitive now with Beverly Hills. Okay, so we are here in Althea Row. This is very interesting because, like I said, this was under construction during COVID. A lot of people know this was a time of very uncertainty in the market. For ourselves, we were, I wouldn't say scared, but we were concerned of how this was going to turn out. We actually tried to sell it before it was finished. Thankfully, we did not. It played very well post-COVID. And at the same time, once we sold this one, we started construction in Biltmore Row, which is the one we just walked by a few minutes ago.
So during the pandemic, you guys were a little concerned about the market during that time. What was like the thought process you guys were going through during that little window of freaking out?
We had either two options. Try to sell it as it was, which was finished outside but no interiors, or, which is what we try to do with every project, get it built, get it done, make people see and feel, and we knew it was going to sell, because at the end of the day, it's beautiful.
So in doing research of your developments and what you guys have going on, I did find one thing interesting. It's how you guys are preserving nature, and I know we were just speaking about it right now, but can you give me a little bit of a story about this big tree that's right behind you?
Well, I think first of all, it's one of our commitments to the city. It's to preserve nature and allocate trees if they're in our site, to the right place in order for not to disturb our developments, and also keep adding value and that sense of nature in the city. We had to replant it to this corner, and it's actually 100+ years of age. And I can tell you, it cost us probably more than $100,000 to only move this tree to this corner back in 2014, 2015.
$100,000 just to move the tree over. Okay. Hey, you know what? But it's worth it though, because that's history right there.
It truly is.
So we've done a full circle of all the developments you guys have done, which is pretty cool that they're happening all within these blocks. But what's up with this building right here?
This is our most special building just because it was the way we got introduced to the city and the way we got started. This was the door that really opened everything else. So for me, when this building was started, it was back in 2014. I was 14 years old, and one of the things we promised and we wanted to make the buyers believe was that we were not here for the short term. We were here for the long run, and we were to beautify the entire area. So like we just walked the entire block. You saw Althea, you saw Biltmore Row, but now we closed a couple months ago on the last lot available in what we call Biltmore Square, which is this side right here. What's interesting is that, like you've seen, there's some high rise, but we're gonna go as of right, and we're gonna do one of our most important type of projects, which is the townhome. We're gonna do a set of 11 townhomes, very high end, very similar to Althea, but we're gonna step it up a notch, and we're gonna give it a more high end and exclusive feel.
So you're telling me this whole entire row right here of properties, right here, you guys already have assembled it, you're gonna tear it down, and you're gonna build a brand new
Set of 11 townhomes. Yes.
11 townhomes. That's amazing. How much interest have you been seeing right now from people?
Well, it's interesting because I think the MG brand is, 2 years ago, we are very well known for our improvements in the city of Hialeah, let's put it that way. But we've always been known for the high-end and quality of our products here in the Gables, especially when it comes to townhomes, because it's just a niche that we found that people needed. People were looking for that here. They were looking for that accessibility, like I said, of downsizing, having their own house without getting close and travel. They can still host people. And when we haven't really announced this, the acquisition news and report came out in some internet sites, but it's really something that people want. There's a market for it. And we have already received calls about it when we're launching sales, so that's very positive feedback that we've gotten.
It's crazy how quickly Coral Gables has been growing in Miami overall, where you haven't even knocked down these homes and there's already demand coming in to just purchase the product. So it's crazy.
I think it's also important to say that it's something that my father always tried to create. He's very, very focused on creating a brand. The brand sells. And today, after almost 10 years, MG sells in the Gables. So when MG is doing something, I think people know that first it's going to be developed, which we've seen many developments go cold in the past 2 years. And secondly, they will know that the details will be very high end and up to their expectations. And if by any chance something's not to their expectations, we will come in and do whatever it takes to satisfy our customer.
And that's important because if you're not thinking about the customer, the end product, how you're going to service the community, how you're going to make these developments blend in, which obviously we just saw your whole entire developments that you've done, how it incorporates nature, the community, the walkability. I'm excited for this project. I think there's a lot of opportunities here. And it's cool that you guys are really taking that initiative to really involve the community within these developments. So I got to tip my hat off to you guys. Good job.
For sure. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Diego. Appreciate your time. And if you guys enjoy this type of content, you found some value from it, drop a comment down below. Give me a follow, subscribe, and if you want to follow Diego and learn more possibly about these projects that are coming down the pipeline, Diego, where can people find you?
Well, first of all, I say just follow MG Developer on Instagram.
All right, so have a good one, guys.
Thank you.